Before I jump into my spoiler-free quick film review of The Lodge, my name is Tyler, and film is my favorite form of art. If you're in the same boat, consider clicking that subscribe button. My goal is to hit 200 by the end of April, and I'd love to see that happen. The Lodge stars Riley Keough and is directed by Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz, and is the story of a family who retreat to their remote winter cabin over the holidays. Isolated and alone, a blizzard traps them inside the lodge as terrifying events summon specters from Grace's dark past. Let me start off this review by saying this film is definitely not for everyone. If you enjoyed Hereditary and Midsommar, directed by the great Ari Aster, Goodnight Mommy, directed by the same duo who created this film, and The Witch by Robert Eggers, you'll probably enjoy this movie. However, if the Conjuring universe films or the typical jump scare infested horror movies we see today are more your kind of horror movie, I would definitely steer clear of this one. It's definitely tough to talk about this movie without revealing spoilers, so I'm going to stay as vague as I possibly can while still giving you a feel for the things I liked and I didn't like in the movie. For the things I did like, the cinematography in the film is great, the colors are gritty, and I was definitely sucked into the world that the directors created during the entirety of my theater experience. The acting is also phenomenal in the movie. I enjoyed every single performance, especially the lead actress Riley Keough's. She's asked to do so much from the script alone, and she does it all practically flawlessly. There's also some moments in this movie that disturb me. Horror is my favorite genre, and I'm not too easily disturbed, and when I am, that means the filmmakers did something great. I definitely had a few of those moments while watching this movie, particularly with one moment in the first act. The shot I'm referring to lingers on screen and is so abrupt that it leaves you holding your breath until the film continues on to its next scene. If you see the film, you'll know exactly the scene I'm talking about once you see it for yourself. It's also definitely a slow burn type of horror film, and if that's not something you're into, then I completely understand and advise you not to watch this movie. For me, however, I tend to gravitate towards the horror films that don't have jump scares and slowly build up to a crazy and rewarding final climax, which is unfortunately where some of the things I didn't like in the film take part. The plot in the movie is a bit scattered. Like I said, it's definitely hard to talk about this movie without spoiling, so I'm doing my best. The best way I could describe it is that there are a lot of twists and turns toward the latter half of the film, some of which worked for me and some of which didn't. One plot element in particular was just a little too far-fetched for me, but it didn't bring me to a point of disliking this film at all. Another flaw I think people might bring up in this film is its similarities to Hereditary, which is definitely a far superior horror film to this one in my opinion. From what I've read, the use of the dollhouse within the lodge was actually written and started production before Hereditary even came out, but that doesn't mean the comparisons aren't warranted. When comparing the two films, Hereditary beats this one easily in practically every aspect, but that's okay with me. I didn't go into this film hoping it would rival Ari Aster's films, because that's just an unrealistic mindset to have, at least for me, because I'm a huge Aster fanboy if I'm being honest. Regardless, The Lodge succeeds to set up an unnerving atmosphere that takes you by the throat and just refuses to let go. Despite the third act not having the emotional punch that I wished it would, it still left me staring at the credits for a long time before I could manage to get myself out of the seat. When putting the great performances, great cinematography, unsettling and downright disturbing images in the film, and deep-rooted themes about religious beliefs, childhood trauma, and pushing someone over the edge a bit too far, I'd say this is an art house horror flick worth a watch. Thanks for watching my review of The Lodge, and I'll be back with my most ambitious and in-depth video yet in due time. I'm hoping to see Invisible Man this week, so if I do, that'll be up before the project that I'm working on, but if I don't, the project might be up before. We'll see how it works out. Anyways, thank you for the support as always, and I'll see you next time.